Most people think poverty is a lack of money. It isn't. Poverty is a lack of control, and control can exist even when the bank balance is small. You can meet two people earning the exact same salary. One of them feels trapped, drowning, always one bill away from panic. The other feels calm, almost untouchable, like the money works for them instead of against them. Same income, completely different life. The difference was never the number on the paycheck, it was who was actually in charge of it. You were taught somewhere along the way that wealth is built by earning more. That's only half true, and it's the easier half to believe because it lets you avoid a harder truth. Most people who get a raise are broke again within a year. Give them double the income and within 12 months their stress is right back where it started. Not because they earned too little, because they never learned to command what they already had. This isn't about hustle culture, it isn't about just skip the coffee, it's about 7 uncomfortable rules, the kind wealthy families quietly pass down at dinner tables while everyone else is told to simply work harder and hope. Stay until the end because Rule 7 is the one that ties all the others together and changes how you see every single one of them. Let's begin. Rule 1. Income is a tool, not an identity. The first mistake most people make is emotional, not financial. Somewhere in childhood or early adulthood, people quietly attach their self-worth to their paycheck. When the number feels small, they feel small, and small feelings almost always lead to small, reactive decisions, an impulse purchase, a treat-yourself moment, a splurge that has nothing to do with need and everything to do with trying to soothe the feeling of not being enough. Think about the last time you bought something you didn't really need. Chances are it wasn't logic that drove that purchase. It was a feeling, boredom, stress, comparison, the sting of watching someone else's highlight reel online. Money spent to fix a feeling almost never fixes the feeling. It just empties the account and leaves the feeling waiting for you the next morning. The rule is this: detach your income from your identity completely. Your income is a tool in your hand, nothing more, nothing less. It is not a mirror reflecting your worth back at you. The moment you genuinely stop needing money to feel adequate, something shifts. You stop making decisions out of that ache and you start making decisions out of strategy. That single shift alone changes almost every decision that follows it. Rule 2. Control the first hour of every payday. Here's a truth almost nobody says out loud: whoever touches your money first wins. If your money touches your hand before it touches your future loses every single time, without exception. Picture payday. The money lands. Immediately, a dozen things pull at it. Rent, groceries, a bill you forgot about, something you've wanted for weeks. By the time all of that is handled, whatever's left over is supposed to become savings. But there's rarely anything left over because expenses have a way of quietly expanding to consume whatever is available. This isn't a coincidence, it's human nature, and it happens to almost everyone who hasn't built a rule against it. The rule is simple and brutal. The instant income arrives, before rent, before groceries, before anything else touches it, a portion moves automatically into a place your everyday self can't easily reach. It doesn't have to be large. Even 5% works, especially at the start. The amount matters far less than the order of operations. You are, in effect, training your money to answer to your future self first, and to your present impulses second. Over months and years, this one habit alone can outperform almost every other financial decision you make. Rule 3. Make lifestyle inflation your enemy. Every time your income rises even slightly, there's a quiet, almost invisible pressure that shows up right behind it, the pressure to upgrade. A better phone, a nicer apartment, a slightly more expensive night out, because you earned it now. This single pattern is the trap that keeps low earners low and, more surprisingly, keeps high earners broke at every income level, even six-figure ones. Here's what nobody tells you. A person earning triple what they used to earn, but spending triple as well, has built exactly zero additional wealth. They've simply upgraded their stress to a nicer-looking version of itself. From the outside, it looks like success. On the inside, the numbers tell a very different story. The rule: when your income rises, let your lifestyle rise slower than your income does, deliberately. On purpose, the gap between what you earn and what you spend is where wealth is actually built, not in the raise itself, but in the space you protect underneath it. Guard that gap like it's the most valuable thing you own, because eventually it is. Rule 4. 1 skill sharpened beats 10 skills scattered. Low-income traps often come from a very specific and very common mistake: spreading effort too thin. A bit of this side hustle this month, a different course the next, a new opportunity every few weeks, never staying with anything long enough to actually master it, and never mastering anything long enough to get paid well for it. The market doesn't pay for effort. It pays for value, and value comes from depth, not breadth. A doctor isn't paid well because they tried medicine for a few weeks. A skilled negotiator isn't valuable because they dabbled. Depth creates leverage, and leverage is what turns effort into real income. The rule: pick 1 skill the market already pays for, something with proven, existing demand, and get uncomfortably good at it. Go past the point where it feels impressive to your friends and keep going until it becomes genuinely rare. A person who is excellent at one valuable thing consistently earns more than 10 people who are merely average at 10 different things, and they earn it with far less chaos, far less burnout, and far more control over their time. Rule 5. Negotiate everything. Apologize for nothing. Most people accept the first number they're offered: a salary, a bill, an interest rate, a rent price. It feels polite. It feels easier. And this single habit, repeated across a lifetime of transactions, quietly costs the average person a genuinely staggering amount of money. Money they never even realized was on the table. Negotiation isn't about being aggressive or difficult. It's about simply refusing to assume that the first number is the final number. In most cases, it isn't. There is almost always room, and the only way to find that room is to ask. The rule: ask the second question every time. Is that the best you can do? It costs absolutely nothing to say, and it has quietly saved and earned people more money over a lifetime than most investment strategies ever will. And here's the part most people get wrong. Silence after you ask is not rejection. It's part of the negotiation. Let it sit. Don't rush to fill it. The person who breaks the silence first often loses the advantage. Rule 6. Build boring income before exciting income. Everyone wants the exciting win, the lucky trade, the viral idea that takes off overnight, the dramatic story they can tell at dinner. But chasing excitement first, before stability exists, is one of the most common reasons low-income situations stay unstable for years instead of months. Boring income, the kind that shows up whether you feel motivated that day or not, is what actually stabilizes a life. It's not glamorous. Nobody posts about it. But it's the quiet foundation everything else gets built on top of. The rule: build the boring, steady, unglamorous stream first. even a modest one, because what that stream gives you is something priceless: the ability to say no. No to a bad job offer, no to a predatory loan, no to a deal that only benefits the other side. And the ability to say no to a bad deal is, quietly, one of the most powerful financial tools that exists, far more powerful than most people realize until they finally have it. Rule 7. Play a long game. No one else can see, and here is the rule that holds all 6 of the others together. Everyone around you, almost without exception, is playing a short game. This month's bills, this week's stress, today's small reward, grabbed to get through the day. It's not that they're doing anything wrong, it's simply the default mode most people operate in, because it's the mode they were taught, modeled, and rewarded for. If you play a slightly longer game than the people around you, thinking in years while they're thinking in weeks, you gain an advantage that has almost nothing to do with luck, and surprisingly little to do with your starting income. It's not about having more, it's about seeing further. Control isn't loud. It doesn't need an audience, and it definitely doesn't need applause. It's the quiet decision, made over and over again, often unnoticed by anyone else, to choose your future self over your present comfort, even when no one is watching, and even when the amount feels far too small to matter. It's never too small to matter. It's only ever too small to notice. Outro. None of these 7 rules require a large income to begin. They require one decision made today, not eventually, to treat your money like something you command instead of something that simply happens to you week after week, paycheck after paycheck. Start with Rule 2. Move something, anything, before it touches your hands. That one action alone starts rewiring everything else on this list. Then come back and build the rest of these rules into your life one at a time, at your own pace. If this gave you a new way to see your money, subscribe. There's more where this came from.